Today on The Sharp Reality, these NFL player protests aren't changing a damn thing. Plus, 3 reasons why men are happier than women. TSR Live starts right now. What's up, guys? It's your man Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of TSR Live. We are presented by Happy Hippo Herbals. It is Monday, September 25th, 2017. As you guys can see, I've officially moved my start time back to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 Pacific. So that'll be the start time from here on out. Got off to a little bit of a late start. Had some connection issues here that I'm trying to resolve, but looks like everything's back online. I'm gonna have to call my internet service provider and address these myself. So we'll get that all figured out, give you guys a better experience. Hope everyone had as good a weekend as I did. Did a show with the Limitable Man this past Saturday, so definitely check that out. We dropped plenty of knowledge, answered a lot of questions. So another great episode in the books with I Am. I always enjoy doing shows with him. I think that's our 7th or 8th show that we've done together, but we always have a good time when we do the show together. Crazy day of football yesterday. For you sports fans out there, my Eagles beat the Giants on a 61-yard field goal by a rookie kicker at the buzzer. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. That was a crazy finish, to be sure. The Ravens got absolutely dump trucked by the Jacksonville Jaguars, 44-7. I mean, who the hell saw that one coming? And the Detroit Lions, lost on a bullshit call to the Atlanta Falcons, which isn't as bad as it looks, to be honest. I mean, if you're a Lions fan, you're certainly bummed because, you guys lost the game. But the Lions went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the league, who, the defending NFC champion. They played in Super Bowl last year. So even though it sucks that the Lions lost the game, they can, the team and their fans can sort of use that game as a measuring stick in terms of where Detroit is. And it looks as though they're trending up. I mean, the NFC North is loaded. You've got Green Bay, who's 2-1. You've got Minnesota, who's 2-1. They just I forget who they just beat. It was either I think it was the Buccaneers or the Broncos. I can't remember. But the NFC North is loaded. But it would appear that the Lions are for real. Looks like they are in the mix. And tucked into all of that NFL stuff, Carmelo Anthony got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, of all places. So it looks like the Thunder now has now they have their own quasi super team. The West is loaded in the NBA, man. The only 2 real stars left in the East are LeBron and Kyrie, and there have been talks about realigning the playoffs. In other words, right now the way it works in the NBA is the 8 best teams from the East and the 8 best teams in the West go to the NBA playoffs. But with all of these stars, with the West with the power so heavily in favor of the Western Conference, they've been talking about seeding the teams just 1 through 16 regardless of conference and just having the playoffs from there. So we'll see how that goes. Just passed the 3,000 subscriber mark on my main channel, so major milestone there. And my thanks goes out to all you listeners and viewers, man. This show's been successful because of you guys, and it's never lost on me how important you guys are to TSR Live. So thank you guys very much for your support, your contributions. I can personally assure you that I never take you guys for granted, not by any stretch of the imagination. So thank you guys for helping us get to the 3,000 subscriber mark. Later on, I'm going to tell you guys why men are happier than women as a whole. But I'm going to start by finally diving into this whole NFL players kneeling and protesting the national anthem and all the rest of that. And obviously, by now, we're all aware of the whole Donald Trump thing, and now even more players protesting, etc., etc. And my take is this, guys. Professional athletes in this day and age, they ain't changing a goddamn thing. They're not. They're doing this whole protest thing to bring awareness to the plight of black people and black men in America. But guess what? We're all well aware. Okay, we've all seen the videos of black men getting beaten up and shot by cops. We're all aware of the problem that exists between black men and the law enforcement community. Professional athletes protesting, that's not going to change anything. It hasn't thus far, and there's no reason to believe that it's going to now. If a white cop's got a gun pulled on a black man, he's not going to think to himself, player XYZ knelt during the national anthem, so I'm not going to squeeze the trigger. A white DA, white district attorney's not going to say, hey, that protest yesterday really moved me. I think I'll offer a lighter sentence in the plea bargain or just drop the charges. That shit's not happening. Now, don't get me wrong. I wish NFL players and NBA players and pro athletes were actually making real change, but the truth is that they're not. And what we all have to understand as a people, specifically black people, is that awareness doesn't always equal a solution. This is the way it's been for a while. Professional athletes these days, especially these days, are grossly overestimating their influence. They always have and they always will. With the exception of guys like back in the 60s like Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, Lou Alcindor, who later became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, those guys. With the exception of those guys, I'd like to think that those guys incited real change, but the fact is we don't really know. But they're far more effective than the players today, even with their influence. And that's just, listen, the world is bigger than it was back then. What with social media, television, Twitter, Facebook. Now, this doesn't mean, I'm certainly not saying that they should stop protesting because, listen, heaven knows that I am all for stopping the use of excessive force and police brutality. But Richard Sherman taking a knee isn't going to stop a police officer from putting me on the hood of his police car if he feels like it. This is just how it is, guys. Secondly, all these NFL guys are coming out talking about how Donald Trump called their mamas bitches, when they know damn well that's not what he meant. He used that phrase, son of a bitch, and you guys can go and Google or YouTube it. He used the phrase son of a bitch as a figure of speech, and it was meant to be directed at the players and not their mothers, and they all know this. That particular element of this whole thing going on between Trump and the NFL players, this is just players looking to seize on something to fuel their reason to further justify their hate of Donald Trump. They can hate whatever president they want. Whether he said what he said or not wasn't going to make these guys like or dislike him anymore. That fake anger they're showing in this regard, that's disingenuous. They're not fooling it. Well, he called my mom. I'm not a son of a bitch. Dude, nobody called you a son of a bitch in the way it was meant to be said, and you fucking know it. Like, get out of here with that. But back to the larger picture here, guys. The disconnect in this entire situation is something I've been talking about, something I've talked about in the past, specifically in episode 79. And that is that white people do not care about the problems of black people, and that is perfectly okay. Not in the passive aggressive, well, that's perfectly okay when we really are. No. White people don't care about black people's problems, and that's fine. This is how it is. I have accepted it. Most people have not. You see, guys, what's happened in this particular situation is that black athletes are protesting to bring awareness to an obvious problem in this country, and they're expecting those who are unaffected by it to care, namely white people. When those people showed that they didn't care, and we'll get to that, we're going to get to that in a second, the athletes upped the ante. So first it was Colin Kaepernick. Then it was Colin Kaepernick and Brandon Marshall, the linebacker for the Denver Broncos, not the wide receiver for the now New York Giants. And the more pushback there was, the more athletes took a knee. And pretty soon you probably had about a half a dozen, maybe more athletes taking a knee. Well, push comes to shove, and it all finally came to a head this past weekend in the wake of the Donald Trump remarks and the outrage. So all across the league, we had players locking arms with team owners, and even more players now taking a knee. And black people are still mad that white people are pushing back. Why? Because white people still don't care, and that's okay. Now, white people haven't specifically said that they don't care, but they're pushing back, and that's what's caused this division. White people and other groups of people who aren't affected by police brutality or the imminent threat of police brutality can't say they don't care because they'll be labeled a racist, and they shouldn't be. That's not fair to those people. But in today's environment, which is basically run by social justice warriors, if you're not 100% on board with whatever's going on, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a bigot, etc. white people couldn't give less of a shit about the plight of black people. So rather than saying what they really feel, which they should be able to do, they've decided to make the fight about something other than police brutality, and that's where the pushback is coming from. They've decided to make this about the military flag, and I'm using air quotes, rather than just admitting that they don't care and they want nothing to do with this. Okay, a lot of these people are just football fans who just want to watch the game or just want to go to the game without watching all of this social justice warrior crap. Okay, racism is an issue, but having it pushed in their faces, man, like not everybody's cool with that. But for fear of being labeled a racist, they have to cling to something to oppose something that has nothing to do with the actual issue being protested. And this is where muddying the waters with the military and the flag comes in, despite players telling you it's not either one of those. Now, you guys know that I'm not a proponent of protesting, but if I were, I can't imagine I'd ever kneel for the national anthem if I were a pro athlete. But one never knows. I mean, I'm not a professional athlete, so I can't say what I would or wouldn't do in any given situation. What I do know is that Donald Trump isn't attacking anyone's First Amendment rights like people are claiming that he has. They have the First Amendment right to protest in the way that they want, and he has the First Amendment right to respond. And NFL owners, in turn, have a right to conduct business the way they want to. If they don't want to sign Kaepernick because of what he started, fine. People can say and think whatever they want, but the truth is that whether you agree with that or not, NFL owners are well within their constitutional rights to cut players and sign players for whatever reason they decide, political or otherwise. People who bark about the Constitution and their rights, they often forget that the other side has those same rights, okay? Including, as it happens, the President of the United States of America. They don't have to like what he said, and they don't, and they have the right to speak out on it, but he had the right to say what he said, and he has the right to respond, and they have the right to respond back. That's part of what makes this country great. I strongly opposed former Clippers owner Donald Sterling losing his team. Sterling is a racist, there's no doubt about it. He made racist remarks, but last I checked, it's not against the law to be a racist, okay? You can say he's a reprehensible human being, and I might agree with you, but he should not have lost his team because of something he said or his views on any group of people, okay? Whether I like it or not. At the end of the day, guys, player X kneeling for the national anthem does not affect your life one way or the other. You can act mad, you can act pissed off, but you don't really care as much as you act like you do, because you know that when you wake up the next morning, your life is not affected one bit because somebody disrespected the flag. What you're really mad about is the fact that you can't say that you don't care without being called a racist, and this is the only way you can fight back. So like I said before, white people, you don't have to care, and I know you probably don't, and I promise you, I can't speak for everybody, but I promise you, as far as Donovan Sharp is concerned, that's fine. You don't have to care. That's okay. Nobody can expect anybody to empathize or sympathize with a group of people they have nothing in common with in terms of lifestyle and issues. And as black people, we need to stop demanding that white people be concerned about something they're clearly not, and accept the fact and not hold it against them, because that's the real issue at the heart of this whole situation. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Donovan_Sharp. You can also find me on Facebook at just do a search for TSR Live with Donovan Sharp. I am also now on Instagram. Just do a search for Donovan Sharp or The Sharp Reality. And if you guys want to get in touch with the show, if you guys want to get at me with questions, comments, show ideas, personal stories you'd like to share, etc., you guys can go to my website, thesharpreality.com, go to the contact tab, and submit your questions or comments or show ideas or personal stories there. You can also tweet the show through the hashtag at Donovan, with the hashtag TSR Live with Donovan Sharp. I got my Twitter handle mixed up with my hashtag. TSR Live is presented by Happy Hippo Herbals, home of the highest quality kratom on the planet. I have personally used Happy Hippo kratom for almost 3 years, and I love it, guys. It elevates my mood. It drastically increases my productivity, and it gives me a good, clean energy boost. And it usually lasts for a few hours, depending on which strain I use. A lot of you guys ask me, "Man, Donovan, you're really cranking out the content. You're writing. You're doing shows every day. How it is that you do that?" Well, Happy Hippo kratom is one of the reasons why. It's that clean energy. I've talked about Happy Hippocratum in previous episodes, and I've written several articles about its benefits on Return of Kings. I've known the owner, Chris, for quite a while. Chris is a stand-up guy. He runs a rock-solid business, has a great customer service department. They're always there to answer any and all questions you have, and they make sure you get your kratom as quickly as possible. Listen, guys, I've never had a bad experience with these guys. And listen, to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't endorse or recommend anything I haven't personally used myself, so I can definitely vouch for its effectiveness. So like I said, I've been using Happy Hippocratum for years, so go to happyhippoherbals.com and get an additional 25% off when you use Bitcoin. That's happyhippoherbals.com. Okay, let's check the chat and see what we've got going on, see who's in the house. All right, very nice. Let's go ahead and start from the top. Warfighter, you're back. Let's get it on. Yeah, I'm having some connectivity issues, but I can assure you guys that will definitely be resolved here very, very shortly. I'm growing increasingly frustrated with my internet service provider, so that'll definitely be done. Darren Brown, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Freelance Ronin in full effect along with TSR. ETF 42. One of my favorite commenters. Looking forward to this episode. Yeah, this is got a great episode. Got a great episode for you guys today for sure. Mr. Old School Writer says Lala is as good as good. Don, not really. Are you talking about Lala Anthony as in Carmelo's wife or LA Lakers? I don't really know what you're talking about there. ETF 42 says, thank you for all your work, Donovan. Absolutely, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. He also says protesting is a 60s tactic and it's outdated. I 100% agree. Protesting is easy. It's easy to get out and hold a sign. What's not easy is getting your ass out there and voting. You know, writing to your local congressman, showing up to city hall meetings, incite and change that way. Protesting is a lazy man's way of trying to incite change, and I don't like that. I've never been a fan of that, and NFL players would admit the same thing. It's easy to kneel for the national anthem and bring attention to yourself, but it's much harder to do what Colin Kaepernick actually did, which is fall on the sword because his career is all but over, and he's actually been out there in the communities. I'm not saying that NFL players aren't doing the same things, but these Johnny-come-lately guys who now all of a sudden want to kneel and protest and all this other kind of stuff, that stuff doesn't impress me. I'm not up with that. Turbattle says Kaepernick was simping. Yeah, to a certain degree, he probably was, but you know, he was simping for a good reason, if ever there was a good reason, and that was police brutality. So you know, I'll give you that there. Let's see what we've got here. Who else have we got? Simply Deep 1985. Good to see you in here. Junior Rosa says, Donovan, off-topic question that I just started working out and put on a little weight over the summer. How many push-ups should I do daily? None. You should bench press. The only lifts you should be doing are compound lifts. Go to stronglifts5x5.com. That's a free endorsement for my man Mehdi over there in France. Stronglifts5x5.com. The only lifts you need to be doing to gain strength are the bench press, the barbell row, the deadlift, the overhead press, and the bench press, barbell row, the deadlift, the overhead press, and the squat. Yeah, push-ups. Listen, man, like gone are the day, like I remember Herschel Walker. He's a genetic freak. He said the only thing he did was push-ups and sit-ups. Well, he's a genetic freak, and he got away with it. For the rest of us who aren't genetic freaks, strong lifts 5x5 is the way to go. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see who else. Okay, so it's good to have you guys in today. Like I said, had a great weekend, did a great show with Illimitable Men. You guys definitely want to check out that episode to be sure. Like I said, we had a lot of fun, and I'll probably have him on in a couple of weeks, so definitely stay tuned for that. But let's get to the topic du jour, the issue at hand. Men are happier than women, guys. Bottom line. Yes, there are a lot of miserable, depressed men out there, and there are also some women out there who are truly happy. But as you all know, when I make statements like this, I'm never talking about the outliers, okay? And you guys know, listen, you guys know, I'm already gonna go ahead and preempt this. Save me the, well, I know a man who's miserable and I know a woman who's and definitely miss me with this, well, every woman I know is happy, or every man get the fuck out of here. Men are happier than women. That's all there is to it. You know it and I know it. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Save you bitch ass commenters. Get you guys to stay the fuck out of the chat. Now I'm talking. I'm not talking. Obviously, I'm not talking about exceptions to the rule. I'm talking about across the board, person for person. The average man is happier than the average woman. If you were to quantify happiness, if you were to assign a number, a score, corresponding with the contentment and happiness of every person, the average male would score higher on average than the females. That's just how it is. Let me go even further and say that red pill aware men, okay, 5%ers of the world, are far happier and content than feminists. And there's no need to qualify or quantify anything there. Feminists are fucking miserable, and red pill men are content. We all know this. Now, anyone who doubts this only needs to look at the number of females who are on antidepressants compared to males. There are some studies out there that say 1 in 4 women are on antidepressants, compared to only 1 in 10. Then some statistics out there say it's 1 in 3 compared to 1 in 8. I mean, there are all kinds of studies out there with all sorts of different numbers. And you guys know I rarely give any absolute credence to studies or surveys, but regardless of what one study says versus another, the underlying truth and the universal truth is that more women are on antidepressants than men. Those results are universal across the board. And the reason for this is that men are happier than women. There's no complicated psychological scholarly explanation for this, because the reason is simple. Men are happier than women. So I'm going to give you guys my top 3 there are many reasons men are happier than women, but I'm going to give you guys my top 3 reasons that men are happier and more content than women on average. And I'd certainly invite you guys to go ahead and give me your input on this as well. So let's get to it. Number 1, our sexual primes are much longer. Women are the most sexually attractive between the ages of 18 and 28 years of age. Give or take a few years, obviously. Now, during that decade, a woman can sleep with pretty much any man she wants. She can get commitment from any man she wants. During this time, women can get attention, dick, money, provisions from just about any man she chooses to at any time. All she has to do is show up, put herself on a platter in some way, shape, or form, whether it be just her company or her body, sexual favors, whatever she offers up, most men are going to give her that attention. Most men are going to give her that dick. Most men are going to give her that commitment if that's what she wants. No matter what, but no matter what women tell you, what they tell themselves or what they tell other people, females want and they value sexual attention from males more than anything else. They won't admit it. They will not admit it, but this is what they want and need the most. Biologically speaking, their need for sexual attraction is necessary for reproduction. If they didn't, they wouldn't make an effort to gain the sexual interest from men, which means they wouldn't have as much sex, which means not as many babies are born, etc., etc. You guys all get it, the circle of life. But that rush of validation that courses through a woman's veins, that courses through her mind when a man fucks her, is what she wants the most. She has to have it. She needs it. And because of this, that 10 years of having absolute power over men is quite literally the best time of a woman's life, especially the good-looking ones. Now, as men, we're the most sexually attractive between the ages of 30 and 45, give or take a few years. Our sexual prime, though, lasts at least 5 years longer than a woman's. But that's just our sexual prime. Don't forget, we're also sexually active in our 20s. Okay, granted, we're not as sexually attractive as when we hit 30, but men in their 20s are still fucking hot bitches out there. You can believe that. Now, don't mistake me here, guys. I'm not saying that a man's sexual prime is better than a female, better than a woman's. Females may only have 10 years of prime beauty and fertility, but their beauty is far more effective than a man's attractiveness will ever be to the opposite sex. A woman's sexual prime may not last as long as a man's, but hers will burn much, much brighter and much, much hotter. The hottest female will always attract far more men than the hottest male will attract women by a long shot, and it's not even close, guys. We all know and understand this. Beauty is at a premium. But the fact remains that as men, our prime attractiveness lasts 50% longer, even before that, in our 20s, we're still able to fuck pretty girls. So even when we're not having sex even if we're not having sex until we're 20, we still have 25 years of peak sexual activity as opposed to just 10, maybe 15 for women. And we age much better. We don't hit the quote unquote wall, okay, until we turn 45. And when we do, we slowly and gracefully age. And even into our 50s, we're still able to fuck top tier women who are in their 30s and sometimes even in their mid to late 20s. A woman's sexual prime ends very quickly and very abruptly. One day she's able to fuck any dude she wants, and the next, those same guys aren't paying her attention unless she's dressed like a slut and throwing herself at them. And even then, they get rejected of younger, tighter girls. This concept is what we all know in the manosphere as the wall. There's no graceful aging for women, okay? There's no slowly ebbing into the next stage of their lives. There's none of that. Women literally fall off the cliff between the ages of 28 and 30. Now, that doesn't mean they don't still get attention from men. That doesn't mean they're not still sluts, okay? But the men they're fucking aren't nearly as high quality and high value as the men they fucked just a few short years ago. Yes, guys, yes, ladies, there are some 35-year-old women out there who are still hot. But that woman will never be as hot as she was when she was 24, and she knows it. So not only do we age better physically, we as men, we age better mentally. Experience and struggle tend to make men more attractive because we're seasoned, we've matured. Experience and struggle makes women unattractive, okay? Experience and struggle manifests itself in men as wisdom, introspection, and intelligence. It manifests itself in females as a scorned woman with a bitter attitude. This is why sluts in their 40s are always miserable, and players in their 40s never are. Men in their 40s who are players never are. As men, we never stop maturing. So by the time we get to our 30s, we start acting like grown, responsible men. Women, on the other hand, they stop maturing at 18, right at the start of their peak sexual attractiveness, and they keep that teenage mentality all through their 20s. But after the male attention dwindles and eventually disappears, that's when they start to mature again. This is why we say women are little more than overgrown children. They've got a teenager's mentality until men stop wanting to fuck them, and when that happens, they're forced to act like women. But unfortunately, by then, for most women, it's too late. They've already developed all the bad habits that can't be changed even at that age. Even the scorned 38-year-old former party slut has the mind of a 23-year-old at that point, having only started maturing and really growing up again after just a few years ago. Again, this is why older women who were ever attractive are insufferable, all right? Listen, I've said before that most older attractive women are harder to run game on than the hot 22-year-old girl. Men get better with age, women do not, and women know this. So to cope with their rapidly decreasing desirability, trapped in a mind that will not let her turn back the clock, they go to the doctor and get prescribed a bunch of meds to help them sleep at night and to help them not commit suicide when reality stares them in the face about the fact that they are not attractive enough to fuck high-value men for the fourth time that day. Number 2. The more women accomplish, the less men are available for them to choose from. Now stay with me here, guys, because I really want this to sink in. Women today are making more money than they've ever made in history. They're more influential. They have more power. They have more influence, more status than they've ever had in human history. Now, this is exactly what the feminists wanted. They wanted women to have more. But what they didn't take into account was the effect that all of this money and power and influence would have on a woman's value in the sexual marketplace. And when I say sexual marketplace, I'm talking about a woman's overall attractiveness with regards to her beauty, her femininity, her personality, etc. The more a woman accomplishes, okay, the more money she makes, the more power and influence she gets and wields, the further she shrinks her pool of potential suitors. Let me say that again. The more money, power, and influence a woman acquires, the further she shrinks her pool of potential suitors. In other words, the more status a woman has, the fewer men she'll have to choose from. And the reason for this is their very nature. Women don't want to fuck down. They don't want to date down. They don't want to marry down. Women want to fuck up. They want to date up. They want to marry up. Okay? They're not going to give the time of day to men who have less money. Okay? Less power, less status than they do as women. It's not in their DNA. Guys, remember, the rule of hypergamy is that women will always try to consolidate on the highest value men available to her. But the caveat to that statement that feminists left out when they were angling for all this money and power is that those men have to have more value than they do as women. Okay? Donna, the executive at XYZ Fortune 500 company, she's not going to fuck the junior partner at the big law firm. Okay? She wants to fuck the guy with his name on the door of that firm. She's not going to date Steve, the warehouse supervisor. She wants to date the guy who owns the company Steve works for. Okay? Carol, the regional vice president for ABC multinational conglomerate, doesn't want to marry the company accountant. She wants to marry the CEO of that company. Okay? Now, women might say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. She has to have standards, and they would be absolutely right. But here's the problem. The math doesn't work. It doesn't add up. You see, ladies, there are far more Steves and junior partners and low-level CPAs out there than there are company owners, CEOs, and senior partners at big law firms. Okay? Then they might come out and say, well, there are far more male executives and CEOs than female executives and female executives and CEOs. So there are plenty to go around for all of the powerful women. In fact, they'd have their pick of the most rich and powerful men in all the world, and they would be absolutely wrong. Yes, there are way more male CEOs and executives than females. But high-value men like this, they don't want to date female vice presidents, ladies. Okay? They don't want to marry these high-status women. They don't want to fuck women. They don't want to fuck female CEOs. They don't want women. They don't want relationships with women who have masculine personalities. Well, how do you know they're masculine, Donovan? Because they're where they are. You don't become a senior partner at a law firm as a woman by being a feminine and kind woman, okay? You got to be a fucking killer. You got to be cutthroat. You don't rise through the ranks to become an executive at a Fortune 500 company without being driven and ultra-competitive. Any woman who accomplishes these things has to exhibit masculine characteristics and do it consistently and at a high level and do it for a long time. And when she finally gets to where she wants, as soon as she reaches the pinnacle of her company or her chosen profession, she has quite literally forgotten how to be a woman. She's forgotten how to be a lady. She's forgotten how to be feminine. And high-value men, okay, executives, CEOs, rich guys, they're not looking to be with a woman who acts like a man. Okay, they don't want to be with a woman with a scorned disposition from all the battles she fought on her way up the corporate ladder. They're not looking to get with a woman who are going to try to compete with him, or a woman who's stubborn because she feels like she has something to prove to him. Okay, these men don't want women like this. They want women who are feminine. They want women who are kind, ladylike, submissive, etc. They want women who are much lower on the competitive totem pole. Data entry clerks, customer service reps, secretaries. And guess what? There are many more of those girls than there are female executives and CEOs. So now it's the men who have their pick of the women they want. Think about this, guys. Think about the cliche of the CEO fucking a secretary, right? We always say, oh, if he's got a hot secretary, he's fucking her, okay? This is how it is. He's higher value than she is, than that secretary. He makes more money. He tells her what to do. He has power. He gives her instructions, etc. Okay? The secretary is in a subservient position. She does what she's told. She asks his permission. She doesn't get out of pocket. She defers to him, as her employment depends on it. That dynamic alone is conducive to attraction on both ends. Of course the CEO is going to fuck the secretary, and of course the secretary is going to let the CEO fuck her. So yes, there are more male executives and high-powered men in America than women, but those men don't want these women with power, money, and status. And even if a male CEO did marry a female CEO, he's cheating on her with the secretary, okay? He didn't marry the female CEO because he loves her, okay? He married her because it's beneficial to his brand and his business, like a power marriage. So if there ever was an exception to the rule, it ain't because he's more attracted to that kind of woman than the kind of woman that he's fucking. And here's the thing to all of this. Women have started to figure it out and they're pissed. Okay? Women feel like they've been duped. They can't admit it, but they've been duped. Okay, they were told to get all this money and status and influence, and they'd be able to attract any man they want. And they figured out that the more they get, the harder it is to find a man, because their very female nature cannot love and respect a man who is not superior to her in every way, period. That's how this works, and that's the flaw in this line of thinking. Let's take it to a lower level. A female junior partner at a law firm, she's not going to date. She's not going to fuck or marry the law clerk or a first year. Worst case scenario, she'll date laterally and get with another junior partner, but that's the worst case scenario. What she really wants is to fuck the senior partner, the guy with his name on the door. Let's go even lower. A female supervisor at a warehouse doesn't want to fuck the forklift driver. She doesn't even want to get with the assistant supervisor. She wants to marry the plant manager. She wants to date the guy in charge of her. Okay, I don't make the rules, guys. I don't make the rules, ladies. This is how it is. And like I said, women are starting to figure it out. The high-powered female and the typical high-powered female attorney is pissed off because big-time male lawyers want nothing to do with her. Okay? Those are her only suitors. They want nothing to do with her. The female executive is miserable because now she realizes why she's no longer attracted to the men who used to make her pussy wet on her way up the corporate ladder. She has a more expensive taste. Yeah, they've got cars and money and friends and can travel and buy pretty much anything they want. But again, what women really want is a man. And at the end of the night, when she lays in her $8,000 mattress with her 8,000 thread count sheets, she cries herself asleep. She cries herself to sleep because she's just now figuring out that the more wealth, the more status, the more power, and the more influence she gets, the less men that she wants will want her. Her taste is too expensive for her sexual market value, and it's always going to be. So what does she do? She calls up her doctor and gets him to call in another prescription for Ambien to help knock her ass out at night so she can sleep. She gets him to call in another prescription of Lexapro to keep her from committing suicide, and Valium to keep her anxiety about being alone at 50 years old under control. Let's go back to the chat and see what we've got going on here. Okay. All right, very good. Junior Rosa says, thanks, I appreciate it. No problem, no problem. ETF42 says, the only time I see a man who is truly miserable is it's because of a woman. Yeah, you're goddamn right about that. You are right about that. He further says, nature plays a cruel trick on women who are not aware. Listen, man, this is why women are angry, man. That's why these bitches are mad. That's why these bitches are mad. Freelance Ronan says, I never thought about it, but you're absolutely right about the amount of prescription drugs so many women are on. Dude, guys, I'm telling you, there are far more women on prescription drugs out here than men. And the reason for it is feminism. Guys, women can't cope with this lifestyle, man. Women can't mentally deal with getting fucked by 7 guys in 7 days, man. Like, they can talk and hoot and holler on social media about how great the single life is, but dude, it's a fucking mind job. Women are not designed physically or emotionally to fuck multiple men. They're just not. And this is one of the many reasons why they're on antidepressants. So good comment there by Freelance Ronan. Darren Brown says, you're right. On O'Shea's show, I asked who makes a better companion between college and non-college women. Also, college women tend to have more sexual partners. Yeah, dude, listen, never. You can fuck a girl who's been to college, who's been to a 4-year college. Do not commit to one. Don't commit to one. Don't wife one up. Don't make her your main chick. Dude, women who have been to a 4-year college, whether they graduate or not, they're damaged beyond repair. They have fucked guys into the hundreds by the time they get out. That's all there is. ETF42 rightly says it is actually very sad how women can never be happy and content with life or have peace of mind the way a man can. They are their own worst enemy and need to be saved from themselves. Bravo. 1000% correct. This is why women need a man who can protect her from herself. Again, just like you said, man, it is a cruel joke that Mother Nature has played on women, because Mother Nature or God or whoever you want to say the creator is, has literally, and it's been like this since the beginning of time. A woman's default is self-destructive behavior, man. It's like they're like children and dogs, dude. You leave them alone, you leave them to their own devices, and they go fucking shit up every time, man. Every time. Turbattle says, don't marry corporate chicks. What's going on, Kevin Samuels? I'm not sure if you've ever been in here before, but welcome. Welcome. Turbattle says, chicks be getting their hole invaded. Yeah, listen, man, girls are hoes, man. It's easy to be a hoe. Getting dick is easy. Okay, well, let's round third and head for home and go into number 3. First off, guys, get the likes up. Trying to get 100+ likes per video. Definitely subscribe to this particular channel if you're listening to this on delay on my main channel, The Sharp Reality. Make sure you subscribe to the live channel, TSR Live with Donovan Sharp. You guys can find the archive of The Sharp Reality on my website, thesharpreality.com. You can also find it on Google Play, SoundCloud, the iTunes, as well as right here on YouTube. You can find all episodes all over the place. Now to number 3. The number 3 reason, the last and final reason that most men are happier than most women is that we have accepted reality and women are fucking delusional. They have not accepted reality. Now, this is especially true. This is especially true when it comes to red pill men versus feminists, okay? Any man that takes and accepts the red pill goes through a series of stages before he finally comes to acceptance, okay? There's the shock phase when we first come across something that's red pill related. We can't believe that there's something out there that goes against everything we've been taught and that it's actually allowed on the internet. Then there's the anger phase when we realize we've been lied to our whole lives, and for a good long time we're angry at women. We really, really are. That's probably the phase that lasts the longest. And I think that all red pill men are at a low level of the anger phase. Listen, I've got an anger problem. I'm in anger management. I've got a short temper. Maybe that's just me, but I mean, I'm always pissed off about something or other. Why shouldn't I be pissed off for women for the bullshit they put us through? But then there's the gluttony phase. That's where you're consuming any and all red pill content anytime you can find it. You're reading hours and hours. You're just getting this stuff in. Now, there are a few other phases in between, but eventually we all come to the acceptance phase. We accept that women aren't what we thought they were. We accept that we are every bit as much to blame for the sad state of women as women are. We accept the fact that we as men, we have to have our shit together before we start making demands of women. We accept that the sexual market isn't fair and doesn't give a shit if a man's only 5'9" because he didn't hit the genetic lottery. Red pill aware men accept hard and fast truths no matter how uncomfortable or inconvenient they may be. We've accepted that in order to get what we want, we've got to go get it, all right? We got to work for it. We accept that nothing is going to be handed to us. We accept that attractive women aren't going to be attracted to us if we're out of shape or undisciplined, okay? Even men who aren't red pill aware, they know that anything worth getting or having isn't going to be easy to get and that it requires hard work to get it, okay? They get that. Even if they decide that's not what they want to do, they don't talk about how it's unfair that they don't have it. They know that they don't have it because they don't want it bad enough. They know that they can't attract top-notch girls because they don't have the discipline to wake up at 4 in the morning and hit the gym or to eat clean, okay? They mentally acknowledge these truths even if they know they're not cut out to be these things. And at the end of the day, he's not as miserable because he knows he's in control of his life and the things he wants are out of reach because he's simply not willing to put in the work. And that's perfectly okay and fine with him. Okay, he's got nobody to blame but himself, and he knows it. Now, it might bum him out a little bit, but at least he knows this isn't something outside of his control. At least he can take comfort in the fact that he can change it if and when he ever decides to. Now, women, on the other hand, have nowhere near the same mentality, especially feminists. They think the world should be handed to them on a silver platter for no other reason but that they exist and that they have vaginas. Women believe that no matter what they do or who they are, that they deserve the very best men out there, and that and what they have to offer, despite not offering a damn thing themselves. They truly believe this. They don't think they have to bring anything to the table but their company and their presence. And the reason for this is that the world tells women that no matter how grossly overweight they are, no matter how unattractive they are, no matter how slutty they are, that they have a right to the highest value men on the market, and anybody who disagrees is a misogynist. Feminists are delusional to a fault, but here's why they're miserable. Even though the world tells them all these things, that they deserve the best of everything no matter what, that they deserve the benefit of the doubt in any and all situations, that they have the right to the best men on the market, even though they're fed this bullshit on a daily basis, they're starting to see it doesn't work that way. Okay? They're starting to see that they actually have to work hard to get ahead in life. They're seeing the highest value men, the highest value in the most attractive men marrying young women, fit, feminine women who want to start families, okay? Who don't care about their careers or being sluts or sleeping around. They're realizing that as they get older, fewer and fewer people will tolerate their shitty attitudes and behavior. Like men, they're also figuring out that they've been lied to. They were told that if they, and women were told that if they go to college, okay, fuck a bunch of dudes to get it out of their system, graduate with a useless degree, then go work in a cubicle for 30 years, that they'd be truly happy and fulfilled as women. Then 7 years in, they have that aha moment where they think, uh-oh, I'm at a dead-end job, I can't keep a boyfriend, I may have a drinking problem, and I can't stop crying for no reason. I thought I'd be happy, but here I am at nearly 30 years old, and I can't figure out why I'm depressed. I'd better go see a doctor because there has to be something wrong with me if I haven't found true happiness like everybody else said I would. Plenty of ways to contribute to the show. When I reach 1,000 subscribers on this channel, you will be able to contribute via Super Chat. You can also pledge on Patreon at patreon.com/Donovan Sharp. Don't contribute on Patreon yet. I've got a special announcement coming up this Thursday. I'm gonna be releasing some Patreon related content for you guys, and you guys are it's gonna be a great supplement to the show. You guys are gonna get more Donovan Sharp related content to help you guys along the way, and you know, of course, help me to learn a little something from you guys. In the meantime, you guys can always donate via PayPal. The link is right there at the bottom of my page, thesharpreality.com. If you're a little bit short on coin, and you shop on Amazon, and I don't know anybody who doesn't shop on Amazon, bookmark the Amazon link at the top of my homepage and do all your Amazon shopping through that link, and you will be contributing to the show at absolutely no cost to you. So let's take a look at the chat one last time here. All right. Oh wow, you guys are lively. Holy smokes. Let's see what we got. Okay. Don't marry corporate chicks. Okay, there we are. Now I'm back here. ETF42 says men have to accept reality and deal with it. Society does not have sympathy for men. Absolutely. Freelance Running says you can choose pizza over tacos and feminists will still call you a misogynist. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Junior Roses says women are delusional. That's why a fat bitch can say she's thick or has got curves. That's why that's a cop out. That's a cop out. No overweight man says he's thick or curvy. Right. Overweight men, we call ourselves fat. I used to be fat. You guys have seen pictures of fat. I didn't say I'm not fat, I'm big boned, or I'm thick, or I'm big and beautiful, or big sexy like big black men used to, or big fucking black women. Oh, get the fuck out of here. There's no such thing as big sexy. Big sexy makes as much sense as a solar powered flashlight or the red pill women subreddit. Okay, I mean, like, seriously, they're oxymorons wrapped in misnomers. Fuck out of here with that shit. ETF42 says women don't even like working. Men can get a lot of fulfillment from working and building every day. This is the problem. Women don't like working because it's not their natural state. Women get true fulfillment being a housewife, being a stay-at-home mom, raising their children. But women think that they don't want to do this anymore. Women get shamed for being stay-at-home moms. So they forego that. And then they wonder why they're fucking miserable at 32 years old and they've just been caught cheating on their boyfriend again. And now she has to have an abortion because she's pregnant and doesn't know who the father is. Simply Deep 1985 says, and the saddest part about women is that no matter how many orgasms she receives, she will never be fulfilled. You were absolutely right on that. You were absolutely right on that. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of TSR Live. Like the video, guys. Try to get to 100 likes. Follow me on Twitter at Donovan_Sharp. Find me on Facebook, TSR Live with Donovan Sharp, and don't forget to bookmark the Amazon link at the top of my homepage. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.